Hi guys! It helps if I turn my microphone on. I'm so sorry about that. Right, okay, let's go again. Some of you, it really does help if I push buttons. So, we're going to be making this little wicker basket, and I know that some of you are here because you are genuinely interested in how to make one of these. However, I also know that some of you are only here for the carnage that is going to be me and super glue. So, you know who you are. Okay, so thank you all very much for joining me now that you can hear me. Pixie B is with me, and unfortunately she could hear me anyway, so she was just like, la, carry on. Okay, I hope you can hear me now. Fingers crossed. I have my coffee, so we should be okay. We're fueling up as we speak. All right. I hope you are all having a great weekend, and I'm really not looking forward to this. Mainly that. Not looking forward to that at all. When I posted it, B went, "What were you thinking?" I was like, it just seemed like a really good idea at the time. All right. There is a link. I don't know where your chat is, depending on what device you're looking on. It might be down there or it might be that way. But I have pinned a link, and Pixie B also has the link ready and waiting for you, which is on the website, and it is the link to like the lists of what I'm going to be using, and the pattern is there now, and that should be live for you to download as well. Just to clarify, this isn't a make along. There are so many parts that I have to do, and waiting for glue to dry would be a nightmare. So I stuck myself to an awful lot of things yesterday and made up some stuff so that I can Blue Peter it. But we'll see how we get on. Hi guys. Hi Sarah. Hi Anne. So what I'd like to do is just remind you guys that there is a weights and measures on the website as well for all of your templates and stuff. If you go to mumsmakery.co.uk and then you click that projects, links and downloads, you'll be able to see all of the weights and measures and the super size sheep, not a fluffy Spider-Man. The super size sheep template weights are there now as well. So we're just going to hop straight in and start making our little faux wicker basket. I'm going to do a quick run through of materials and stuff, and then I'll go through the various processes. So I will scoot over here. As I mentioned just now, the pattern is now available on the website, and if I can do it there, there's 4 different sizes of pattern, from a 50mm base through to an 80mm base. So hopefully that will give you at least a few options with your with actually making your basket. Different types. We're going to be working with just normal kitchen brown string, and I know somebody yesterday asked how thick it was, and it looks to be about a couple of mil, maybe 2 to 3 mil in thickness. This is just your bog standard kitchen brown string, really. But you can get all sorts of string and ropes. There we go. There. So let me just move that over so I can see what you're seeing, hopefully. There we go. I don't know if you can see. This is almost like braided, and it's quite flat. I've got this in a couple of different colours. Then there's I mean, you can use anything you want to cover your basket. I'm going to be using brown string because obviously that is most commonly available. This particular basket has been done with string, but it was some string that I bought from a market stall randomly one time when I was out, because I just, you know, I'm a crafter, we like string, and I don't know what kind of string it is, but it was nice for what I wanted to use it for, which was this. You're going to need some paper clips you will find useful. I use these little, what are these called? Twizzle stick? No, not twizzle sticks. Coffee stirrers. I use these coffee stirrers for applying my tacky glue. I have found that this is a force for good. What else am I going to use? I've got some wire cutters and pliers, and that's going to be for the wire that we're going to be using later on. Oh, and some fabric. I'm going to be using this fabric, but you know, whatever. This is just a plain cotton fabric, so you can mix and match it or coordinate it or contrast it to your heart's content. And I think, oh, and you can sort of see it's just here, the dreaded hot glue, which is probably about as much my nemesis as super glue. Right, let me just clear the decks, because I find the less things I have in front of me, the less I can stick myself to. Turn my volume up. Yeah, I can turn my volume up. Hold on 1 second. Let's try that. See if that works any better for you guys. So what I've got, where's my basket? This basket is the 60mm. So it's not the smallest one, it's the second one up. And, oh, and of course you're going to need thick card. I'm using 300 GSM craft card. And this one is the 60mm pattern basket, and I have pulled off and plaited 2.5 meters of brown string. So that's 2.5 meters 3 times, which by my math is 7.5 meters in total. And by my reckoning, that will go round the basket with some to spare. I did originally plait 15 meters of string, which was 3 5-meter lengths, and the thing what I did attach the string to ended up in the kitchen, and I was still plaiting in the front room. Okay, to make your plait, this is just going to be very, very quick and crude, but to make your plait, you get your 3 pieces of string, or whatever it is that you are plaiting. I generally find it's good to just anchor it down. And to plait, I mean, there are lots of tutorials on plaiting and things. It's just over and over. So you bring that one over into the middle, then that one over into the middle, then that one over into the middle, and then that one over into the middle, and you just keep going ad infinitum until you've plaited all of your string. Do put some tension on it so that you get you know, quite a close, tight plait. But I'm not going to sit here and plait loads of string for you. Again, you can use that ropey string or braided or anything really. I mean, go wild with it. You could cover it in burlap fabric as well. So, okay. So once you have your string, your 2.5 meters of string, and again 2.5 meters is what I have done for the 60mm basket size. The first thing you're going to do after that is cut out your pattern. Now you could, I'm just trying to think of the best way to do this. You may want to make up your basket first, your basket pattern. Then you could wrap a piece of string just round and round and round and round. And that will, and then unwrap it all, and that will give you some indication of about approximately how much wrapping you might need for this. Obviously it will depend on your thickness of card, of string or whatever, but that might be a way to help you work it out. The first thing that I did was cut out, you want 2 pieces of your pattern shape. So you're going to keep one hole like this, and then you're going to get another one, and you're going to chop it up into bits like that. And then cut these tabs off. So you don't need these tabs on one of them. You're going to end up with one complete and one like that. The red dotted lines on your pattern will be your, what are they? Fold lines, score lines. That's where they bend, just so that you've got that reference. Once you've got that one cut out, and you've got another one cut out, and then you've chopped that into bits, you're going to glue one onto all of the panels. So I would start with doing the bottom one first, and I'm trying to avoid the glue here as much as possible. So I would glue and then put the base on, and then some paper clips will be your friend, just to help hold on the corners. She says, fighting with the paper clip. Come back. So this will help hold your bottom in place whilst it secures. And then, and for this I would be using my tacky glue. Dare I brave it? This is where I find I've glued the glue shut. I like tacky glue. You could use other glue, but tacky glue will give you that little bit of working time. So stick in pot. And the way that I have found is, I don't want to say non-messy because I'll jinx it, but I get some glue up that side, and you don't want to be going onto the tabs at this part, you just want to stay on the panels. A bit more glue. It's just put some glue on like that. Almost down to your score line. Can you tell I've been practicing with glue? Hang on. Let me grab kitchen towel at the ready. Just wipe that up. And then I get the piece. Now this card has a wrong side and a right side. It's a bit kind of darker and shinier on the back, so I'll use that side. So that's the side I'm going to be sticking down. And I'm going to take this and just push the glue almost right up to that score line and then scrape it back. And I found that this gets you a really good, nice, tacky covering. And I'm just going to wipe that off of there. That gets you a really nice covering. And then just move your panel into place. Line it all up. The tacky glue gives you a good sort of working time. There's no rush with this glue, which I like. Super glue is so stressful. And there's your first one glued into place. And the reason that we're not just gluing one over another is you need these sort of hinged bits. And I found that just gluing two together, when you actually try and bend them, the outer card starts cracking or the inner card just goes horrible. So that's why this one, this one, this one, this one and this one will have the extra panel. And in true Blue Peter style, wipe up the glue first, Sam. Oh no, I've got it on my hands. No! There we go. Right. I'm so good. I have like 150,000 stacks of or sheets of kitchen towel next to me. It's all ready. So when you've got your panels glued on, like I said, I would do this one first, the bottom one, and then, what's the word? Paper clip it, let that one dry completely, and then go round and attach the sides. And you'll find you'll end up with something that looks like this. So this will be the inside of the basket, and this will be the outside of the basket. To assemble, bring your sides up, and then these tabs go on the inside. So you fold them in and put them on the inside. And again, it's a little bit of glue on the tab. Use a spare little bit of card or something and just scrape off the excess. I do find that this tacky glue works better when there's not a lot of it. Don't stick that to me. So then bend that in, hold it for just a few seconds and it will start to grab, because you've just got that sort of thin film of tacky glue. It tends to be a little more grabby, which works. And then paper clip. You'll go around and do that. Oops. Tab on the inside. Do that both sides and then bring it round and do it on the other side, and you'll end up with your little sort of basket trug shape. And you know, I mean, here is, if you're doing some little daisies or something, maybe you can use it without turning it into a basket. There's lots of ways that you can go with this once you've got that basic pattern. Let me just move all of this out of the way. And when, look, I'm so organized. Look, part 2. I always wanted a Blue Peter badge. Never got one. Anyway, when your little basket is dry and it's all stuck together, I'll grab my piece of paper. Now comes the fun part. So I am going to just quickly plug in my hot glue, and that will take a minute before it starts dripping everywhere. And I'm going to put my glue away like a good person. I have had quite the traumatic experiences with glue. So, right. Whilst my hot glue gun is doing its thing, I'm going to come back and just talk to you guys for a minute. I'll bring the witch. We can have a chat about the witch. Hi. Okay, let's move that back over there so I can see what's going on. Here's my witch. This is my steam witch. Some of you may know that I'm quite a bit into steampunk, and I like doing bonkers things, and I made her, and she actually, oh, she holds this basket. At least she would if I could get it on properly. But she holds the basket, not like that. She holds it properly. I can't do it one-handed. Hold on. There we go. Needs both hands. You can see she holds that. And she's got little fingernails too. See her little fingernails? The fingernails were made from felter's wax, just in case you were interested. And she was the reason, obviously, why I made the faux basket. And I had to take her stuff out, but I've got a bunch of stuff that goes in there. Let me pop her back over there. Right. So, oh, what was that? Wait, oh, right, yes. I don't know if I mentioned, I might have mentioned it with the sound off. So I'll mention it again, just in case. On the website, there is a weights and measures page. So if you have a template, any of the templates, and you want to know what the rough guide, the base, obviously it does vary depending on what you're doing with it, but it'll give you a base weight of, oh, I remember. It'll give you, finish your sentence, Sam. It'll give you a base. She's like, focus. It will give you a base weight of wool, our wool, for what each template will use. So hopefully. I had, oh, it's over here. Hang on. Let's have a look. I got a new thing. Everybody knows that I am, sorry if you're hearing me go wheeling across the Makery. I got a new little pocket scale. Well, it's bigger than my little one, but it's not a big one. That's just, oh my god, words. I got this one because many of you will see that my original little pocket scale, which I love 2 bits, and you can get these on eBay and Amazon. There is a link on the weights and measures page, and this one I got because this is more of a just, it stays in place on the desk and it's just there, but this one kind of goes everywhere with me, and Pixie Bee has this one too, and it has a trifle pot. So let me just test my glue. Are we glue ready yet? Oh, not quite. So this one is, this one I got off eBay, and this one I got most recently off of Amazon. And the only thing I would say is that if you do get one like this, get yourself some little sticky feet. Thank you, Pixie Bee, for these, because the tray does tend to slide around. But I'm loving, and this one will do 0.01 grams up to 500 grams. And if you are just joining us for the first time, this is your first fray into the madness and mayhem that is Mum's Makery, you will know that I talk about weights and measures a lot, and it's something that I came to realise very quickly, because I couldn't create absolutely consistent pieces, and when you're doing petals you want them to be roughly the same size and shape. So weights and measures, particularly a pocket scale, which will do tiny little increments of wool, will really help you. Let's test the glue gun again. Yes, we have oozy glue. Sorry, say that again, B. The witch. She took, my aim's not getting any better. She took me a month, I think. I was working on her for a month because I made all of the bits and bobs and her hat as well. We could do maybe we could do a hat next time or something. I don't know. I digress. Back to the glue. Okay. There's no putting this off. I need a lovely assistant that can do this, and then I can just sit on the sidelines and heckle. You up for a challenge, B? She's like, nope. In fact, I didn't even get an answer. She just laughed at me. So when you've got your plaited string, what I do is I start at a bottom corner. And I'm going to start it. Don't try and start it right at the end. That's why you need to do yourself a little bit of extra. Just come off the edge like that. Let me move my screen back over so I can see what you're seeing, and that way I don't end up going off camera too badly. So you want to take it off like that, and then we're going to go across there. Here we go. Just glue. Okay, it'll be fine. Put a bead, a small bead of your hot glue, and I have found that hot glue is just the absolute best for this. So put your hot glue on, come off the end, and what I'm doing is I'm putting this edge just ever so slightly lower, so you don't see the card at the bottom. And the next bit now, once you've got that first bit on, it's, I don't want to say smooth sailing, because it never is, especially for me. But I'm going to do one all the way round, because I'm going to show you what I do when I get back to that first. You'll always find that when I'm concentrating really hardly and I have my tongue poking out, I don't talk. So if ever I go completely quiet, you know that I've got my concentration face on. Right, another bead of glue, and it doesn't have to be much with this stuff. Less is more. Get a nice good bend on that corner and bring it across nice and tight. And again, with hot glue, you get that couple of seconds working time, so you can just bring it across and just push it down a little bit. Now, when I get back to here, scissors. You also need scissors. I forgot to mention that. I always forget something. And don't be tempted to just cut it off like that. Come a little bit past. Let me see if I can explain this. Right, so we're up the right way. See that? And I'm going to cut it from just past, and I'm going to cut it down that way on that angle so it slopes into the basket. I know a lot of you are now going, huh? I'm so sorry. Because you want a little bit of a frayed edge like this, because we're going to bring this round. And because we've cut it on an angle, which I apparently haven't, there we go. That will now sit nicely over that corner, and the next piece that comes round will sort of lead up from there. So, a little bit of glue on this edge. Get yourself a stick and smush without sticking the stick. I did this so much better yesterday. It was like first time. Ah, it's fine. Maybe tacky glue would have been better. And you're just going to stick this down. You can sort of thin it out a little bit. But you can see that was a little bit frayed, so I'm just going to put a tiny little touch of glue there. You don't want this to be too bulky because it's sort of going to come in and round. Don't stick the stick. So you just sort of thin it out along that little bit, because now what we're going to do is we're going to come along here, and then when we get to this part, we're going to go up like that. But you just want those last few sort of fine fibres coming underneath, because otherwise you'll end up with seeing your card. Might need to put my glue gun back on charge. Hang on. Oh no, I think we've got a bead. There we go. So when you come to this, just come along, and then we're going to go up on that corner to the next level, and then we go round and round, and then obviously you just follow it all the way round. Do this really, really quickly, and then you want to come up as high as you can. And when you're doing these, make sure you compact them so they're like that, so you don't have any gaps. And we're going to go all the way around, and then this last one will take you, you know, just over the top. And you will be gluing this all the way around, every side, every layer, until you get to this part here. And when you get to this part here, just glue this last bit, stick it down, and allow the rest of your string just to come off the project. And then once that is glued in place, then you just take your scissors and you snip it off straight with the top of the basket. Hope that made sense. Let's put that to one side. That wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't too bad, because I've still got more gluing to do. I'm just going to put my, for anybody who's interested, my glue gun is a cordless one from Lidl. Okay, next part. Once you've got your little basket all wrapped up with string, where did I put it? I'm just going to untangle this a minute, because I'm going to use the inside to demo the next bit. So we'll pretend that this is all covered in string. Cut out your fabric pattern. Now your fabric pattern is an exact replica of the box shape that you used, the basket shape that you used, minus those little folding tabs. So you will end up with this. And really nice and simple. The next thing that we do, now we have the outside on, is we're going to glue that into there. And we're back with the tacky glue. I'm going to use a little piece of card as a spatula. You can use an actual spatula if you've got one. So get some glue, and I like to make sure that we get some down in the corners. I think I'm running out of glue. So I like to get some right down in the corners. Oops, I just went all up the side. Oh, it's all going to go wrong now. Oh, it's getting messy. That's all right. Don't panic. This isn't working. Hang on. Let me just scrape some off. There. Okay. So a little spatula, and then scrape some glue. Like so. In your bottom. And just a little bit up round the sides. Oh, a little bit more glue. It's so sticky. No! Oh, we have a question. Could you use a glue gun for well, you could. I wouldn't, and the reason I wouldn't is the glue from the glue gun won't stick, won't absorb into the fabric, and you get very little working time. You could possibly use spray glue. I don't know. I haven't tried that. So this now, the glue gun I think wouldn't offer you very much in the way of time to move this stuff around. What I'm doing is I'm just poking with my stick just right out into those corners and those sides, like so. There we go. And that gets that bottom in nicely. You may find that you've got some overlap on the corners. You can overlap it like that, and then you can spread some glue on the top side of the fabric as well, but I would just go back in now. Paper towel. I would just go back in now with a little bit more glue, God, and just do the top bits. I feel like I'm pushing my luck with this. You have no idea how much Pixie Bee is desperate for this to go wrong. So there we go. I'm just going to do one side, I think, lest I really annoy the glue gods of crafting and end up stuck to it, the table and everything else. So there's one side in, and then, you know, just peel back your fabric, go all the way round and glue it into place. Let me just get rid of this real quick. Oh, goodbye gluey stick. Okay, let me pop that out of the way and put the top back on that. There may be, I mean, there are so many different types of glue that, you know, they've got a glue for everything. I find tacky glue works the best for this, and it's also the easiest to get off your hands. I've experienced many, many glues over the years. And this one is by far the easiest. Okay, once you've got, once you've got your string on the outside and your fabric on the inside, we're going to move to part 4. Oh, she says, but not being able to get anything out of the bag. You're going to need a pokey thing for this. I've got my awl. And if you see on your pattern, oops, drop that. If you see on your pattern has these sort of little holes marked on them, and that's your handle hole. So you have, so it'll line up. And what I've done is I've transferred it. You do want to make a hole in your card and both pieces of card when you do your base, but then put a little pattern piece in there and then mark it with a pencil or something, and then pop yourself a hole through that way and pop yourself a hole through that way. This will just mean that using the wire later on will be infinitely easier because you've already got a pre-made hole. Sort myself out. I have to keep myself quite organised when I do this because carnage and glue and sticks, just, it's so bad. Right, let me put those out of the way. Okay, so now we're here, and gosh, there are so many things you could do now. This top trim, this doesn't look great. Doesn't look finished, doesn't look neat, so we're going to do something about that. Just steal my witch's basket again. What I did for the top of this one, this is not plaited, this was just the string that I bought, and it is just wrapped round and round and round. So when I got to the top, I wanted to make, you know how baskets have kind of got that sort of thicker rim around the top, and I wanted to try and simulate that. So what I did was I took two pieces of this and wound it together. You could do something similar. Let me get my string back with this. So you would take a double strand of your plaited string, twist it together. You see how that, and then glue that right on the top like that, and that will give you, that's one way that you can get that sort of basket rim on your basket, but that involves more gluing and holding of string, so I'm going to be a chicken and opt for this one because I've already got a basket like this. I want to do something a little bit different, and I found this in my craft box and I thought that's pretty. This is the corner that we started off, so this is the one where it kind of goes slightly offline as it moves up the basket. So this is my the corner that I'm going to start this in, and what I plan to do is that, look how cute is that, and I'm just going to rough it out like so. Just work out how much I need, about there, and cut that off. And then hot glue. Let me see if she's got the right corner. Yes, right. So I'm just going to run a light bead because it's lace. It doesn't really need heavy gluing. A bead from corner to corner. Don't put your fingers in it. Don't put your fingers in it. Ow. I've run out of sticks. No. There. And then when you come to this corner, you sort of bring it in, bring it round, and it will create sort of like a fold there. So let me do this. I'm going to put my stick right in the corner like that. That gives me a nice fold, and then just bring it round, and then tuck that in, and you'll get that sort of little bit of a mitered corner. But then you've got to do it with glue. Concentration phase. There. There we go. It's so stressful. Okay, next bit. And I need to, unfortunately, you have to join me in the gluing of this because I don't have another one I prepared earlier. So I have to finish this one off before I can do the handle. And scooch that down, don't stick yourself to it, you muppet. There we go. Home straight, people, home straight. It's the last little bit. So what I'm going to do, what am I going to do? What am I going to do, B? She's like, oh, you're on your own. Okay, last bit. I'm going to leave this bit loose and then I'm going to cut it, I think, afterwards. It's almost like I didn't plan this far because I thought it was going to be an utter disaster. Now we're just winging it, folks. There we go. Ouch. Gluey finger. We suffer for our craft. Right, what am I going to do with this bit? Oh, I know, I'm just going to fold it back on itself. No, I'm not, I'm just going to cut it off. Right. That bit looks good. That bit doesn't. Oh, there you go. You could, apparently you could fold it and you could. Which would probably look way better than what I just did. I'm going to put a tiny little touch of the glue. Oh God, just be nice, be nice, be nice. There we go. Yay! It's a little bit of a raw edge there, but I'm not going to push that anymore. I would probably put just a little bit more glue under there and, oh God, just go for it. Don't be such a Nancy. A tiny little bit of touch of glue. Use the stick. This is where I find out that my really, really good idea was actually really bad. So we'll just pretend that that's all lovely. And ta-da! I mean, you could put so many different ribbons and, gosh, all sorts on these things. They're just, oh my goodness. I mean, you could, you could do little coloured cardboard cutouts and do like a mosaic, and it could be like a little planter. Because don't forget, you can alter that pattern any way you like. You can make it bigger and smaller, and so you could keep it the same size, but you could extend the side pieces so you could have a more of a taller basket. So there, that's your basket base, absolutely done. And next up, we're going to make the handle. But first, I'm going to come back. The treatment for minor burns: fudge and coffee. Coffee I have, fudge I do not, because the pixies are being awfully quiet today. So I don't know why. I'm always worried when they're quiet. Always wondered where they're quiet. It worries me when they're quiet. But I thought we'd just come back and chat to you guys for a minute and just get past the trauma. Okay. Oh, which tutorial? Oh my goodness. That would be a bit of a make along, wouldn't it? Yeah, that could take us the rest of the year. We've got until Halloween, apparently. She said, I just make one by Halloween. Okay. Okay, funny story. I'll tell you about this. If some of you watched the last broadcast, you may have heard the story of a little prank that I played on Pixie Sue when I was put through her car speakers. And of course, I'm an equal opportunity prankster. You know, I'm not selective. I will prank anybody, and all in, it's not silly pranks. I'll point that it's not silly pranks, but I got every single one of the pixies. I rang up Pixie Sue. It all seems to start with Pixie Sue. So there's a thing there. I don't know, but I rang up Pixie Sue and we were chatting, and I can't remember. She was doing something and it was challenging or something. I said, you need to think of that Rocky theme tune, that Eye of the Tiger theme tune, right? So you all think of that song, right? You know the song. Everybody knows that song, probably, but you know that song, right, guys? Eye of the Tiger, Rocky, right? She's like, yeah. Like, hold on a minute. I put the phone down. I rang Pixie B, Pixie Vanessa, Pixie Sue. Not Pixie Sue. Pixie. Who else? Pixie Haley, Pixie B, Pixie Vanessa. There's so many Pixies. And Pixie Terry. And they picked up the phone and went, you know that Rocky theme tune, The Eye of the Tiger? They're like, yeah. I said, do you remember it? You know how it goes? And they're like, yeah. And now you got it stuck in your head. And hung up the phone. And I got every single one of them. And I won't repeat the messages that then came back to me via Facebook Messenger. But yeah. However, I will point out that they do get their revenge. This is not all one-sided. And apparently I ended up with Baby Shark do-do-do-do-do-do in my ear. Thanks to Pixie B, who played it whilst I was live on it. Anywho, back to the glue. Okay, so we're in the home stretch. We've got our basket finished. Now we're just going to make a handle, and this is, goodness, you could do a square handle, you could do a round handle, you could go whichever way you want with this. I'm going to opt for squiffly wonky handle because I think that would be great. I've got an 18 gauge wire and a 20 gauge wire, and you can see the difference between these two wires. The 18 gauge wire, this one, it's a beast. It is a real beast. So these are bare wires. We have two in the shop. We sell green, obviously, because of the flowers, and we sell the bare wires. Now, bare wires are exactly what they say on the tin. They are bare wires. So when they come to you, don't expect nice little beautifully clean wires. They're not. They're dirty because they're bare steel. But a bit of a wipe over with kitchen towel and you're good to go. I think I want to use the 18. I think that's an 18 that's in here. But it doesn't have to be super rigid on some of them. Grab your awl. And this is why we don't glue all of this down, because we need to find that awl. That's just going to give me an indicator. And what I'm going to do, what am I going to do? I'm going to bend back I'm going to say 20 mil. There or thereabouts, see? On each end. Start with this one. And that goes through there and comes out the other side. I've seen a problem. Hold the phone. I'm going to need to cut that. Let's try that round too. Poke that through. That's better. And then this bit just comes up like so. And then some of you guys may find that you are better off with the 20 gauge, because this is an 18 gauge wire is an absolute beast. And I'm going to wind that round like that. And then decide I could do with something what is round, really, to bend this around. Use this, no, that's too big. Tacky glue, good old tacky glue. So I'm going to put my tacky glue bottle just there and just bend it round. And then out the other side, I have to do the same here. Just cut my little thing there. So this is going to be, like I said, wonky handle. I think I could do with chopping that down a little bit. Ping. Now these wires are annealed, and what that means is that you can bend, and they won't snap like a lot of steel wires. Florist wires are generally pretty good. And then I'm going to take this and just wrap that around like so. Just make sure that there's no sharp sort of ends. And then you can manipulate your little basket handle however you want. I think a round handle is good. You might be easier than a square handle, but you know, you play with it. Now if you're using a thinner gauge wire, you could wrap a pipe cleaner just to give it some bulk. But how we do this last bit, or how I do this last bit, is get yourself another piece of your brown string and I'm going to tie it off down here. Like so. And it's rappy McRapperson, because you just wind your string on the tools that I'm using. Okay, this is my awl, aka a pokey tool, which will make a hole in things. These are flat nose pliers. I like flat nose pliers for doing this kind of job because you've got a bigger surface. I also have a pair of sort of bull nose pliers or pointy pliers. I can't remember what these are called now, which I have not used. And then I've got my B&Q heavy duty wire cutters. And my advice with buying a pair of wire cutters is get the best pair that you can, and don't necessarily be tempted to go for the little hobby pliers. Go to somewhere like B&Q, a workshop, and get, you know, a pair that is heavy duty. And you can get them where they B's got some that are really easy to use. The mechanism on them just makes cutting wires, cuts through 18 gauge like a dream, because they're proper workshop pliers as opposed to hobby pliers. So that's my my bit of advice. So I'm not going to do all of this on camera, but as you can see, you just wrap. It takes a little bit of time, but you just wrap. And if your basket, if this then isn't thick enough, go over it again, or perhaps bulk it out with a pipe cleaner and then wrap it with string. But go wrap it all the way to the other side, tie it off again, put yourself a little dot of glue on the inside and just hold that string into place. And then you can sort of tie a knot and do a little bit of sort of frayed string and just glue that on where your bag meets your handle, and then that looks like it's sort of finished off. And there you have it. That's I will finish that one later and off of camera. But that's it. That's how I made my little faux wicker basket. And it's that simple. The pattern is available on the website. If you go to projects, infos and downloads, I think it's there, I don't know, there's a banner. The link is in the comments, wherever the comments may be, and it's also in group. If you go to the website, there is a banner for this broadcast which says make a faux wicker basket. So if you click that, you can follow that, and that takes you to the pattern download. But we'll also put it in the files in the Facebook group. This video or this broadcast will be available in the Facebook group after the broadcast has ended. It will also be going up on the YouTube channel. So if you aren't a member of, or if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do subscribe. Hop over there. There's lots of tutorials on there, lots of free tutorials. And the Make It With series is obviously a whole bunch of tutorials that you can use which you make with your existing template sets. So lots and lots of different uses for all of your templates. I think we're done. And a little bit of glue. Oh, what was that be? Yeah, thank you. Yep, that's great. Thank you all very much for spending your time with me today. I hope you have enjoyed this making a faux wicker basket. If you've got any questions, do feel free to hit me up with a message. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I wish you all a very crafty day.